85 million years ago, dinosaurs dominate the landscape. What land there is, for most of the planet is covered by water. These vast oceans are a cauldron of violence, a world much more dangerous than the land above. This is the brutal world where an ultimate predator is born and bred.
This mosasaur was the most dangerous creature in the most dangerous ocean ever. It's 45 feet long. It's the size of a Greyhound bus.
Now a monster is resurrected inside a laboratory, and its killing secrets revealed. This is a mosasaur, and this is a megabeast. This is mosasaur country. At least it was.
Where I'm standing would have been the bottom of the Western Interior Sea about 85 million years ago.
Mike Everhart is one of the world's leading experts on mosasaurs.
The horizon would have been ocean for as far as you could see. The seaway stretched for hundreds of miles from where we're standing.
At this time, the climate is warmer, so there are no polar ice caps. Sea levels rise until well over 80% of the planet is covered with ocean.
The center of North America was covered with water from Nevada to Missouri, from the Gulf of Mexico on up past the Arctic Circle.
The floor of this ocean, known today as the Kansas Chalk, was created by billions and billions of nanofossils, the shells of tiny plankton that drifted down and were deposited on the seabed.
What we're looking at here is literally hundreds of thousands of years of deposition on the sea bottom of the Western Interior Sea. What we see back here is roughly an inch per 700 years to build up that much chalk. So there's untold billions of these animals there.
And entombed in this chalk are giant fossils of mosasaur. In the late 1830s, the bones of the beast are first uncovered in North America. This is where the mystery of the mosasaur begins, because nobody can say just what this creature is. It is a question that first arises when a massive skull is found near the Meuse River in Holland.
The first guy who looked at it thought it was part of a fossil whale. It was also thought to be the jaws of a crocodile, a giant lizard, and one person even suggested it was a dragon slain by a medieval knight. A French paleontologist described it as a mosasaur, meaning Meuse River reptile.
Eventually, the American bones are matched up with the earlier fossil find in Europe and correctly identified as a mosasaur. Over the next 80 years, as scientists begin the serious hunt for dinosaur fossils, a pattern emerges. In every corner of the globe, they find mosasaur bones. This points to one conclusion: no other predator has ever dominated the planet like the mosasaur.
This guy weighed 8 tons. It could easily swallow a full-grown human male whole, just like a tater tot.
Scientists investigating mosasaurs realized that nothing on Earth could have stopped them. It took a cosmic catastrophe to end their reign. As scientists explore mosasaur evolution, their investigation yields a startling revelation. The ocean's top predator came from the land. These sea monsters began their journey as tiny lizards at the mercy of giant dinosaurs. How they became colossal mosasaurs remains a mystery. Until 1989, when a fossil hunter named Van Turner finds a very unusual skeleton. Turner takes the fossil to Mike Polson, a paleontologist at Southern Methodist University.
When Van came across the first pieces of Dallosaurus, he immediately recognized it as some sort of mosasaur.
Named Dallosaurus after its discovery in Dallas, Texas, the bones were pieced together. Then, scientists connect the dots. Dallosaurus is an interim form, a missing link between mosasaurs and the tiny terrestrial lizards that are their ancestors. The lizards, dubbed agialosaurs, face a constant threat from the larger, fiercer dinosaurs. They flee to the ocean. 3 million years later, they evolve into Dallosaurus. Their toes evolve into webbed feet, so they can no longer function on land. In the span of 6 million years, they grow from a small 3-foot lizard into the giant 50-foot mosasaur. The mosasaur's development demonstrates that even in evolution, timing is everything. Warm temperatures and shallow seas create an abundant food chain in the ocean.
This is a perfect environment for animals to take to the water.
But these life-giving seas can quickly turn deadly, even for mosasaurs. The competition is everywhere.
Everything in the oceans then would have looked very strange to us today. All the fish seemed to have been armed with mouthfuls of teeth. It seemed like everything in that ocean was a predator and just built for killing things.
Like Zephactinus, a bony fish that is armed with a mouth full of long, needle-like teeth. The plesiosaurs are marine reptiles and top predators for over 100 million years. They come in 2 lethal varieties. One deals death through speed and agility. The other is a behemoth, so mammoth, nothing dares challenge it. And of course, there are the sharks. These predators were around 100 million years before dinosaurs had ever roamed the earth.
This is a tooth from a large shark that lived during this time, during the age of mosasaurs swam in this ocean. It's from a shark called Cretoxorana mantelli, the Ginsu shark. And I called it that specifically because it's sliced and diced.
The Ginsu is a giant shark. Reaching a length of 25 feet, it dwarfs any modern great white.
This shark was literally able to bite through bone. We know that because we find pieces of mosasaur that have literally been severed from the bodies, swallowed, partially digested, and then regurgitated again.
To survive, mosasaur had to change its land-based behavior, tearing out a place for itself at the very top of the food chain. But what allowed this creature to evolve into such a relentless killer? It's all in the bite.
You'd probably be in shock after a bite like this.
Taking her up. Give it more power.
humans got lucky. We managed to miss out on the mosasaur. "95 million years ago, it is just a small lizard forced to flee into the ocean. Within 6 million years, it grows into one of the most successful predators of all time. But what made the mosasaur such a monster killer? Millions of years of evolution created a perfect formula for the perfect killer. This is how you make an apex predator. First and foremost, breathing. Like whales, mosasaurs can spend long hours submerged in the sea, but they still have to come up for air. And then there's food. Fish are nutritious, but they're fast and slippery. To catch them, mosasaurs must develop the skills of an efficient hunter. Another part of the formula, hearing. In the water, sound location becomes a prime method for hunting. Mosasaurs modify their terrestrial ear into a super amplification system that makes sounds 38 times louder. In his studies of the mosasaur, paleontologist Dr. James Lamb has been able to reconstruct the creature's hearing mechanism.
This little piece fits in this pit and moves back and forth. And then this piece fits here, and a small movement in this first piece creates a large movement in this one. So it's a system that's finely tuned for conducting sound through water.
Even though sound can lead them to the prey, it's difficult to detect a target if it's in murky water. Here, mosasaur would have the advantage by using the keen sense of smell inherited from its land-based ancestors.
A mosasaur like this would have had a tongue that would function exactly like a monitor lizard's tongue. The reason why the tongue is forked is so that the animal can smell in 2 different directions at the same time. This is smelling in stereo.
One more addition to our killing formula. Sonar.
The last piece in the puzzle is this set of nerves that run down the side of the upper jaw and especially are concentrated here in the snout. And it's a system for detecting the pressure wave given off by the prey.
Mosasaur uses this pressure wave sonar to hunt, much like modern killer whales use echolocation. All these adaptations mean mosasaur has a good chance of locating dinner, but they still have to catch it. And chasing down fast, elusive prey requires jet-like speed. So how does an 8-ton, 50-foot monster propel itself? This alligator has another piece of our formula, a massive tail. Along with crocodiles, gators have a long, flattened tail shape similar to mosasaurs. They use the whip-like action of their tails to move quickly through the water.
One of the things you notice, first off, when you look at a mosasaur, is fully half the length is the tail.
Mosasaurs retain their terrestrial lizard shape, except for the tail, which evolves from a round, snake-like shape into a wide, flat paddle.
If you look at the vertebra on the tail, they have expanded bony struts top and bottom for the swimming organ that helps them swim.
Using modern gators and crocs as a comparison, scientists estimate a mosasaur can reach a top speed of 30 miles an hour. Its whip-like tail is good for quick acceleration, but not sustained high-speed chases. Fish are built to swim fast and far. Mosasaurs won't win a marathon, so they have to strike quickly. Which means this enormous beast has to somehow hide its 50-foot body and ambush its prey.
Imagine that this animal is sitting on the bottom, takes a deep breath, it just waits there for something to swim by, close enough that it can get that sustained burst of speed to go out and catch it.
Speed and surprise are two critical elements. But mosasaurs also need agility.
That's where the paddles come in. They propel themselves with the tail, they steer with the paddles.
These paddles are short and strong, allowing this long lizard to corner on a dime. Like flaps on an airplane wing, the paddles create drag, which makes them turn. For mosasaurs to be successful underwater, there was one land-based trait they absolutely had to jettison: their sensitive inner ear. The inner ear controls a creature's sense of balance. For land-based